everybody. Hello. Good afternoon from Los Angeles, California. I'm Joey J. Ping here, checking live, man. RespectMyRegion.com. We're here back on the Oregon Cannabis Podcast with a good friend of mine. We got Marianne Cursetjee representing Alibi. She don't need no alibi because she got that fire. You know what I'm saying? She co-signed from everybody across the Northwest, y'all. Marianne, how you living? How we doing?
We are awesome, Joey. It's so great to see you again. Back in stateside in the Pacific Northwest. Glad to be here and glad to chat.
You know, I've been on the move, I've been traveling, and you've been on the move, and you've been traveling. You've been sharing the game all across the country from, I believe, Chicago. I think there was a New Jersey one in there. You've been spending time in New York, and of course, the PN Dub is home. What's it been like for you traveling, building your brand these last few holiday months, Marianne? You've had to manage 420 on 2 coasts.
Coast to coast, baby. Yeah, it's been fun actually. The West Coast is saturated and hard, but it's our home. It's where we're from. So want to give some love there. We've got an awesome cultivation team, and their success and their professionalism has allowed us to expand. So we launched in New York on 420. So that was pretty wild. And I've been showing up in Jersey at MJ Unpacked, Chicago at Benzinga, New York for Cannabis Means Business, just really talking to people, building the network, and sharing our dream of Alibi where everybody has one.
You know, New York and Jersey, entirely different markets. They don't overlap. They don't have the same brands, right? They don't even have the same dispensaries. Did you find that MJ Unpacked trip for you, did that provide value to you in your New York project that you're working on? Because the timing was right there. They were within days of each other, right, for you?
Yep. Yeah. So it's, the people definitely from New York definitely came down and showed up at MJ Unpacked. So from that perspective, it was good.
Wow.
We got a lot of retailers and a lot of operators in New Jersey wanting to bring Alibi to New Jersey.
Yes.
And we put that on a roadmap. I always want to say yes, like let's build that relationship. Let's make it happen.
But my understanding is there's a supply chain shortage for Jersey with flower and white label situations.
Exactly. I feel like it's just a little bit too early. Like the infrastructure just isn't quite ready to bring outside brands into Jersey. So it'd be a lot of work on our part, a lot of work on their part. And we're a small team, so I need to set ourselves up for success. Yeah. And that's when New York was the perfect place for us, because we started the conversation, came to an agreement, and we were launched in a few months.
Yeah, I think it's huge when values can align, when some operational efficiencies can also align. And of course, you've got to have those things combined, like align and then combine and infuse together to really create the magic and maintain that quality meets brand. Because growing weed is one thing. Branding another, and sales and managing relationships is a whole nother problem too. How are you managing that, Marianne, coast to coast? You guys got your own sales team there in New York? Are you handling it? What's going on with that? How are we growing the brand in the NYC?
We were really fortunate in the partner that we chose. I mean, it's fortunate because it's what we needed and what I was looking for, but they're fully integrated on the supply chain. So they've got cultivation, they've got processing, manufacturing, sales, and distro. So nice. They handle all of those logistics, which is huge because I'm not going to build my own facility out there. It just doesn't make financial sense. And so having a partner who can handle all of that infrastructure has been great. And then where we come in after the fact is we come in with the marketing and the field marketing, brand ambassadors, all of those people, the boots on the ground to reinforce the brand in the shop and do trainings and pop-ups and all of that stuff. So I provide that, and my partner provides all of the stuff on the other side, the wholesale side.
You've got the brand, the life of the brand, the heartbeat has to come from the person who created the brand to overcome their own death, conviction to some extent, right? Yeah. Cancer, you overcame it, Marianne. Now you're coast to coast helping weed, bringing it to the people, making sure they get quality, affordable cannabis. What strains are you running? Tell me that Durban made it coast to coast. Please tell me some of your terps and your flavor profiles are staying alive over there.
You know it. Actually, it's pretty awesome because our manufacturer, our grower in New York, we have a lot of strains in common, which was really cool. So some of our favorite ones that I was like, oh, hey, I really want to run this one. They already had it in their library, so it's just a matter of
Nice.
getting everything synced up. So we've got Durban. They have Chem de la Chem and some other really good ones. Over time, we'll expand that,
Mhm.
but for now, we were able to launch with stuff that feels genuine and it's actually an authentic representation of Alibi.
Yeah, it's in alignment with what you guys were already doing, man.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
love it. And you know what? I'll be real too. I got all the love in the world for New York. I got 150 out of 150 for New York, or 420 out of 420. I do, because they got a passion for the plant. They really, really have. Like, obviously you got New Yorkers with the big egos, just like LA or wherever else, right? Seattle to the death, right? Whatever it is, right? Portland, PDX, let's go, right? Whatever it is, like
Yep.
I'm here for that. That's what I love. That inspires me, Marianne. That's why we're a platform to showcase local culture. But they definitely need that West Coast genetics and breeding and love out there in the plant situation. Great manufacturers, great extractors, great business, people, branding, marketing, PR, everything I love about New York. But they just need that top tier genetics and breeding to get out there from the Mecca, which is the West Coast, Oregon, Washington, and Cali for breeding. Colorado's fourth place, respectfully. Now, but I think once you guys get that and over some time and you start, we start getting some things out there, man, I can't wait for your terp profiles. That Durban's going to change people's lives out there. Marianne, what are some of the other things that's going on with your Oregon group? Let's pivot back. What's the latest with Oregon? What's in the ground right now? What are you growing? What's going down?
Well, I can't remember when we last spoke, but we've just come off of back-to-back wins. We won the OG Invitational for our Gary Poppins and our Durban. The Durban
Wow.
won the People's Choice.
Let's go.
So
We'll
that
give
was
you snaps for that one so it's not too distracting.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
It was a huge, huge win for our cultivation team because they work so hard, just boots on the ground, head down, taking care of these plants, doing the best we can, and to get statewide recognition as being the best, judged by people. It was a completely blind taste test.
Mm.
No, there was no information given about the genetic, about how it was grown, what the nutrients were. There was nothing. It was straight flower.
Wow.
And our
Open category, indoor category. What was it?
nope, free cat, like everything, just
Against
head to head.
terps against terps. Let's
Yep.
go.
Yep. Flavor against flavor. And our Gary Poppins just crushed it. Everybody loved it. The judges said that it was the best thing they've smoked in a very long time.
Wow, that's
And
incredible. Props to you. Mad respect to you and the team, Marianne. Big congratulations. That's incredible.
yeah. And on the team side, you met Lacey when you were out. So our head of cultivation, she's out right now on maternity leave. So we have a new honorable member of the team who's not 21 yet, so can't actually come to the farm. But we have a new little baby as part of our team, and she's beautiful. So we're excited about expanding that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Amelia. Okay, so question. When we were there last, you guys were in this R&D experimental phase where you guys were growing the plants pretty tall. Remember that?
Yep.
Is that the method and the processes that got you to this win too? Was that?
It is. It is.
No, wow. Okay.
Yeah. That big jungle that you saw, that's what crushed it.
To some, they might be surprised because everyone thinks that their way of growing is the only way. A lot of, very boxy in their mindsets. But you and I both know that the weed in the plant, sometimes it wants to do its own thing. And whatever it's going to do, whatever that situation might become, sometimes you just got to lean into it a little bit more. That Durban poison you gave me, I still think about that.
That's awesome.
Like that Gary Poppins you're talking about, I remember seeing some of those iterations back then. I think that was November. I think it was November because October was Ohio and all that. So yeah, in November. And just how green the weed was. It was like this thinking about trees in Oregon and just the green, serene views out there in the forests and the fields. And you guys were in a jungle and a forest there inside, man. That was incredible. How would you honestly compare the flower versus what you have in Oregon, your New York batch? If you're going to go versus yourself.
So that's really hard.
I know, but we all have a favorite child or a favorite pet or a favorite something. So we're gonna
Yeah, I tell that to my kids. Okay, which one's favorite? So let's preface it first with some caveats because there's
I like that. And weed is subjective, everybody. So this is based on Marianne,
yeah.
and probably things you've heard from homies and stuff.
Yep. But one thing that I think is a big difference between the West Coast and New York is the testing rules.
Okay.
And, I don't want to get like too deep in the science of it because that's not really my area of expertise. But the requirements that they have to go through in New York to get flour onto shelves is crazy and ungodly difficult. So what that has done is that has forced the rec market to grow things a certain way. There's a lot of remediation, and it's focused on things you can do to pass the test as opposed to how to grow the best flour, because those are not necessarily the same thing. And because our testing rules in Oregon are different, we're able to focus on the quality of the flour and really just growing the best that we can. Of course, we pass all the lab tests, we don't fail, but it just creates a different environment. And so it's not really fair to compare it head to head. But that being said, we're not doing loose flour in New York. We're doing
Pre-rolls.
infused pre-rolls, regular pre-rolls, and vapes. I
Cool.
just don't feel quite comfortable yet putting our name on some loose on bulk flour until it's a little bit more in
That would,
alignment.
and obviously that would be the direct head-to-head comparison in theory that I was alluding to, right? Is
Yeah.
flour versus flour, and so that caveat right there, huge. The New York market, as most people would say, there is just the flour is not where it needs to be for the true heady consumers, the connoisseurs, and whatnot. Not to say that pre-rolls or anything are going to be bad or worse or whatever. I don't like those words. They're all
Yeah,
different, and there's always a pre-roll for a person. Every pre-roll is the perfect one for somebody.
exactly.
Um, and so I'm excited to see how your curation and hear about some of these strains that you guys are running out there. You mentioned infused. What's going on with the infused pre rolls? Is that all cannabis terps, live resin? What are we doing there, Marianne?
Yeah, we're doing on distillate infused. So
Oh,
we
cool.
decided to launch with a new product for us, but in looking at the market in New York, it seemed like there was a really big gap, and this would be a way for Alibi to launch authentically with a really amazing product. I didn't want to have to be making excuses for the product of like, oh, it's not the same as Oregon, it's not that good. I wanted to launch something that was absolutely top of the line.
Yeah.
And so after some R&D, we landed on 2 half-gram infused joints in a dupe tube, 3 different varieties, and they're flying off the shelf. We've got shops already on their 4th and 5th reorder. I've
Wow.
had to order packaging.
What's in it? You said distillate infused. What's the innovation we did there?
It's just really good flour. So it's flour. It's not trim. It's not floor nugs. Flour infused with distillate. So you and I on the West Coast, we're used to higher end concentrates, but this stuff is great, and the price point is awesome. So it's a way for people to try Alibi and get into the market and still have a great experience.
I love that. I love that for you guys, and I like potent joints, so I'm here for a disty joint. I'm here for live resin, HTE. I'm here for the diamond. Actually, I don't really like diamond joints because I feel like they always taste harsher than the other ones. But I mean, but I'm also too. I'm not all everyone's target customer. These people out there, they're potency chasing. They want good full flower, and they want the strains that they recognize. What kinds of strains are you running there in the Big Apple, Marianne?
So the infused pre-rolls are the 3 strains. There's an indica, sativa, and a hybrid,
Okay.
which I wish we didn't have to categorize that thing. That's a whole separate podcast about categorizations and terps and all that stuff. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's the way the customer recognizes it because they want.
Shout out Leafly.
Yep, and they want effects a certain way. So this is our way of talking that language of the customer. So our indica is a caramel cream, which is really awesome. The hybrid is a cherry diesel, and the sativa is a dream star, which is a blue dream cross.
We actually
So
have your website, right? We pulled it up a little bit before. Let me go ahead and share the screen so we can show them what they look like.
look at that right there.
Here we go.
Yep.
Okay. Half grammars, white crutch tips,
Yep.
alibi, red sticker, blue, purple, kind of orangish yellow there for the sativa.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then you got the 21 plus New York symbols down there on the bottom. dope. This looks, love the
Yeah.
artwork for this as well.
That's pretty. Yeah, we had to revise our artwork to be compliant with New York rules, so it was and that took some time actually for on the design side of getting everything nailed down just right because I don't want to do things half-assed and just kind of come at it casually. It's important to be able to launch, at least for us. Oh, and check out our skate decks. You see those?
Yeah, I remember seeing you post about this. This
I'm
is
so excited about those. We just getting them into a shop next week, and it's great.
That's sick, man. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you, Marianne. We talked about this at MJ Unpack New York years back,
We did.
and again at the New Jersey one last year that I was at. It's just to see you have these things come to fruition in life, and to hear that you're already seeing such strong success with some of the items already on 3, 4, 5 reorders. I think that speaks volumes about knowing the market and how the experience you have can really translate. A lot of people sleep on Oregon, huh, Marianne? You're probably one of the few Oregonians, right? I almost said
Mhm.
Oregonites, like that's a thing. Oregonians that is really all over the place. We've seen Diane a lot over the years. Shout out Rebel Spirit. She always deserves a platform and a place. But now that they're out of Rebel Spirit, right, we need to, we're only going to see you rocking Oregon around the country. And so everybody out there, man, in New York, make sure you guys go visit your local shops. Marianne, do you know maybe a couple shops in the greater New York area where some people can pull up and maybe support with some of that caramel cream that you were talking about?
Oh, absolutely. So if you're out on Long Island, we're in Planet Nug, which is an awesome shop. If you're in the city, Happy Monkey is always our go-to. Shout out to the guys at Happy Monkey. We talked a little bit about the culture and the OG style and the legacy and stuff, and they really represent in
They
the city.
definitely
So,
define that for sure.
yeah, so happy to be with them. Upstate, we're up in Albany. We're in Clouditude on Staten Island. So we're all over. We've got a real time store locator on our website.
Oh, cool.
Just
Okay.
type in your zip code. It's all real time. It's updated.
Alibi.co, folks. ALIBI.co. Make sure you guys check out the website. They're also available all over social media. I think it's just Alibi Cannabis, no?
Alibi.ny on Instagram
Oh, so
and
we got the state
coming
with the
soon
New
to
York.
TikTok. We're on TikTok, but that's what
Yeah.
we're beefing that up later this year.
Now, I just realized I got to shout out our sponsor, SparksCan.com. These guys over here, Marianne, they help run people's Weed Maps, Leaf These, Yelp. It's the homie Kevin, former Weed Maps, Red Bull. I just think as someone that really understands brand campaigns, and so all you brands out there that are doubting Weed Maps or you doubt Leafly, I encourage you guys to take a meeting with Kevin and hear him out about how you're just missing money on those platforms because most people don't use them right. Like 9 out of 10, it's pretty bad. And so we just encourage you guys to learn and to check it out. And for that, Kevin, we wanted to shout you out. You are our sponsor for the episode. Big shout out to SparksCan.com, giving us a platform, empowering Armar to do what we do, to talk about Oregon, to talk about California, to talk about marketing, and to talk about this New York expansion of Alibi Cannabis, baby. Let's go. The Northwest doing it big. Marianne, we've talked a little bit about your Oregon, the recent moves there, your award. How was 420 for you specifically in Oregon? How was Memorial Weekend? I mean, it's 2 pretty holiday months back to back, and now we're in the summer. So, how was the last 3 months gone for you with 2 holidays, and now obviously we're in the full swing?
We're great. We always sell out of every harvest. That's my sales team's goal, and we have so far been able to successfully do that every time. And so the holidays are not like on a sales side, they're not that big a deal because stuff is already sold. It's
Yeah,
pre-sold. It's ordered.
plans made. The
It's,
at least from the sales side, the
yeah,
stress of that isn't so
yeah.
ugh.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that part's done. But we do have a really exciting, I'm giving you a sneak preview of a new product that we're going to be launching here in Oregon. You mentioned before diamonds. So one of our processing partners has come up with a really cool way of infusing flour with diamonds.
Cool.
So we're in the middle of R&Ding it right now, but that's going to be our next product on the shelves, and we're trialing it now. They just won Oregon Leaf, the best in class. So we're excited about being able to work with them and launch a new Alibi product into Oregon.
Hell yes. Hell yeah. I was referring to the harshness of diamonds. I can quickly visualize the two culprits that have created this experience in my head about diamonds being harsh, and I won't name them for the sake of I'm a fan of them. It was just they're the ones. One can be named. I'm a big fan of cookies. Everybody knows I love cookies, but cookies would put out these diamond blunts, and they just had big chunks of fucking diamonds in there, dude.
Yep.
And
It's kind of gross.
it was, oh, it's a big blunt. It's a big blunt. So we'll have big chunks of flour. We'll stuff it down, big chunk, big chunk, big chunk, and we'll just put diamonds in there. And it was like, oh my God, that was just not like it. Just the running was so bad.
It's
and
like the keef coated pre rolls. I hate keef coated pre rolls. I think they're so disgusting. I'm sorry if you like them, but I think they're just so gross. Like on the outside.
I am not a keef person in general, unless it's a sativa one, because then it's usually like overwhelmingly flavored terpy. You know what I mean? Like orange this or lemon that, or some kind of jack terps or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like those are usually. But anyways, yeah, I'm not the. That product for you will be exciting. The other group, they did what was it? They just everything was always too wet, and like that's where it's a. Do you use isolate? Do you use do you pulverize it? Do you do it through the middle? It'll be interesting to see how that goes. I hope it goes well for you because I know the flower will taste good. That's the one thing I can trust from Alibi. The flower is going to taste good. So as long as it amplifies the Alibi experience, oh man, let's run it. Let's go. Let's get it. Marianne, summer plans. What are you guys up to? What's your plans for Alibi for the summer? You guys got a part of any events there in Oregon? You going to anything for July 4th or 7/10? What's coming up for you?
Well, 7/10 is our target launch date. We're actually going to beat it for both of our 2 new products for New York. We as we talked about, we launched with infused pre-rolls, 3 different flavors. Now we're coming along right behind it with a variety pack, which of non-infused pre-rolls, straight flower, 4 half grams, 4 full grams in a variety pack, 2 and 2, and that's going to be out end of next week, first of the next, so by July 4th. And then we're also doing vapes in New York, which I'm really excited about. We're doing some summer flavors. So it's botanical terps in a distillate. So it hits that certain price point of an entry level, for an entry level, level product. But the hardware is awesome. It's a great experience. So we've got summer flavors. We've got watermelon, we've got sweet and sour peach, and we have raspberry lemonade. So all of those things are going to be, lined up ready for summer, and those will be out in the market.
Just a couple little flavors for them. You know what I'm saying? For the summer. Let's go. I like that, man. Those kind of flavors ain't going to get me caught up at the bar or at the club when I step out to rip it and they think I'm hitting my Nick vape, which I don't make nicotine, but for those that do at the clubs, a lot of people, right? This is going to allow them to stay more discreet. I love weed that tastes like weed. I love weed that smells like weed, Marianne. I know you do too. But we also know that discretion is incredibly important. And those fun, fruity flavors, let's go. Hit me with watermelon, sweet peach. That's my shit. Sour, sweet peach, right? Sour,
sweet and sour. It's like peach rings. It's like the peach rings, the candy.
Yeah,
peach rings. So that's the flavor. Yeah.
I've been waiting a long time for someone in cannabis to come out with peach flavored vapes and stuff, man. I love peach flavored things. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, and wait till you see our hardware. We've it's been a whole journey trying to choose hardware, and it's been a big education for me, but we landed on a manufacturer that really is just top of the line, and I'm excited about it because of the reliability, but also we've got an awesome design. So of taking these
are cartridges or all-in-ones?
All-in-ones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So taking our girl and Mariposa and putting her on the small cartridge, on the small all-in-one for your pocket. It was really hard to figure out how to shrink the image down so that it would fit.
Yeah.
And yet still accurately represent the brand. So we came up with an idea. We're doing black on black. So it's like the glossy black on the matte black background. It's with a few red highlights. It's pretty awesome.
That's sick. I'm excited for. Is that available online yet for us to look at right now or no?
Maybe I could probably pull it up here real quick if you wanted to talk about something else real quick, and I'll pull it up.
Yeah. We can rock that. Man, how dope is that? So you're over there rocking with Happy Monkey 2, Vlad and the team, right? And then you mentioned you got stores up north, over there in Long Island, and all these different places. Like, do you have a favorite area or region of New York that you've enjoyed going to or visiting yet when in your journeys?
Well, it's interesting because in the space of a week and a half when I was there, went all the way from Long Island to City, went to Revelry in Hudson Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never been to upstate New York before. So it was interesting getting an education and trying to figure out what that was like. So in terms of my favorite, I mean, the city has so much energy and there's so much going on.
Yeah.
So, and that's different also so different from Oregon. So I like the city because it's different and there's a lot of activity going on. But all of it really, it's just the people. We got to sponsor a really awesome event for Pride Month in Brooklyn. So I loved exploring Brooklyn and hanging out in the parks there. It's just, I don't know, it's just fun. The whole thing is awesome.
There's a lot more of what you envisioned being able to do as a brand owner, being like actively already happening at a high level, but then now you can also participate at a high level right alongside the community.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that's pretty dope, man. What out of those joints and all these new products and everything that you got going on between Oregon and New York, what product are you most hyped for? Which one has you most excited for? Which one do you find yourself talking about more often than others?
Well, I'm excited about the vapes because that's a new product for us, and I think that gets us into a different demographic because not everybody smokes, and this gets us into that, and it's a bit more discreet and is really just a way for people to carry their Alibi with them and consume on the go wherever you're at.
Yeah.
And so from that perspective, I do really like it. But it's just fun, like being able, and we've got plans for next year. I'll just give you another little quick behind the scenes idea. One of the things in talking with customers in New York is that they're really looking for ratioed products. So, on the West Coast, a lot of people are like, hey, what's the highest THC? I want to get as high as I can get for the least amount of money.
Yep.
And that forces us into certain product categories. But I had so many people who were saying, I really want help sleeping. I need help with pain. I need all those things that people want to use cannabis for. And so we're looking at products that include CBN, CBG, some of those other minor cannabinoids, and include those in our current products. So
yeah,
still working that through how that's going to work, but it's pretty excited about that.
I think, definitely incorporating those other minor cannabinoids, and I'd say CBN is becoming a major cannabinoid just in terms of the real reason people use cannabis is overwhelmingly for sleep, pain, things like that. There's like the big 3 or 4 issues, right?
Yep.
So I 100% support that and love the idea of incorporating more of that into it. I definitely typically consume my CBN and cannabinoids in that realm. I feel like orally through gummies and edibles, and almost always gummies at this point. I feel like there aren't really other products. I'd say pills and capsules exist, but I feel like they're more expensive than the gummies.
Yep. And I'm trying to reduce sugar in my life, and I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
So it just felt a little disingenuous to launch a gummy product when I don't actually want more sugar in my life.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, we're working through that. But I did find our vape packaging to loop back
Let's
to that.
go.
I'm going to hit share screen real quick. Hopefully it comes up okay.
We can definitely add it to the scene right there.
Look at that. So
damn, that looks
behind the scenes.
So it's like her shadow.
Yeah.
Dude, that is dope. That silhouette is sick.
So look at that, the black on black, and then with the red butterflies, red Alibi. So I think people are just going to love this.
Yeah, that is dope, dude. That is fire. That's so sleek and classy looking. And it's girly, but it's dope girly, and it's not freaking pink.
I don't have a pink.
Pink is not the only color that is girly, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Come on. They made that look dope. Marianne, that's fire.
Yep.
Man, that's going to crush out there for sure. I hear New York girls and the women out there smoke a lot of weed is what I'm told. A lot of stoner ladies across New York as a whole. Just like Oregon, though. Can't sleep on Oregon. Are you going to bring that back to Oregon, too, that vape?
We'll see. Now that we've got the process figured out, I'm really excited about it. So we just need to get our costs. Like the challenge with the Oregon market is getting our costs low enough so that we can be profitable, and getting shops to pay. It's a whole separate conversation of.
Did Oregon has that issue too, just like Cali and Washington? Not Washington is required, but just like Massachusetts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a big deal. We're in a fine spot, but it makes me a little bit nervous to lean too heavily into new shops if I can't trust them to pay.
Damn, what a powerful perspective to always have to consider in
Mm-hmm.
cannabis right there. Can't be always so aggressive on the new shops, can we, Marianne?
Nope, I'd rather have a few of the good ones that that respect us, because it's about respect. If you don't respect me enough to pay to pay for products, you're basically stealing from me.
Not basically, you are stealing from her.
True.
Folks, we are not giving out loans interest free around here.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Got to pay for the weed that you ask for and that you also sell. Come on. Don't make it worse. Jeez. Well, Marianne, it's been a great conversation, getting reconnected with you and is learning about these new products. You have just been so busy and creating new things and innovating your brand, right? Continuing to adapt. I love Alibi. Needs no alibi besides they're hard at work, folks. They're over here doing it. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's fun. And the coast to coast is amazing because we've got the West Coast knowledge and our history. We've been here for a long time with the East Coast hustle, and I'm loving the East Coast vibe. So Alibi translates coast to coast, and everywhere you go, you need your alibi.
Let's go. Everywhere you go, folks, you need an alibi, which means that if you are in Oregon, you need to ask for it. If you get over to NYC, if you happen to be up in Albany or Buffalo or anywhere in those upstate New York areas, you got to look for it online. You can visit alibi.co, right?
You got it.
There's the New York tab and all that good stuff available to click and find the locator there. The Instagram, there's a New York Instagram account for you guys to tap in and check with. Can you remind the folks where they can get tapped back in again, Marianne?
Alibi.ny.
That's right. I don't know why I didn't forget that. It's about as perfect as it should be for the New York account for y'all. Marianne, I always do. We've done plenty of episodes and interviews. I loved hanging out and catching up with you. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with the people? I'd like to, end the episode with giving you the floor. So what's anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I just wanted to remind people we still have a long ways to go. I've seen it both sides. We talked about some of the challenges in Oregon, some of the excitement in New York, but really what we all need to do is continue to just advocate and for normalization. We should be able to consume a plant. You should be able to grow it in your house. You should be able, all of these things. It's just a plant. The hemp versus cannabis disagreement, I feel like it's tearing us all apart. And we really just need to come together and advocate so people can consume cannabis wherever they want, whenever they want. Because that's ultimately the goal. It helps so many people with medical conditions and helps improve lives. So keeping that at the forefront and not getting all mired down with the troubles that we all have, but hey, heal the world through cannabis.
Yeah, cut through the fat, people. You got to continue, reading between the lines. Don't let yourself get distracted. Cannabis helps people, saves people. It's just, at the core of it, it's just a plant. Yep. And until you consume it one way or do things with it, then it becomes all this other stuff. And if we can manage that and we can get better and improving it in this legalization and the way that they structure all these different industries in these different states and all these different countries now, right? Because it's bigger than just America, right? Yep. Germany is now, I believe, the biggest importer of medical cannabis, in like the world or something at this point. They're smoking all the weed from all the other countries now, which means America is getting left behind because we're just not participating in the right stuff. And so people, if you guys could please do some research, vote, if you guys can understand that there are people still in prison for cannabis crimes that are non-violent, that didn't do hardly any harm to people or no harm to people. And they're sitting there in jail, in prison, because cannabis was outlawed over racism and politics and personal agendas and money, a lot of money over a long time. And that's just not right. Yep. So we've got to free a lot of these prisoners, give them opportunities again. They need to try this Alibi, get out to New York, get over to Oregon. And we encourage you guys to do the same. So alibi.co on the website, alibi.ny on the Instagram, folks. Today's episode is brought to you guys by Sparks Can. For any brand out there watching, make sure you guys tap in and support. Support gets support back. Build community. right? Support a women-owned, women-operated brand. They're out there in New York getting it. They're in Oregon getting it. That's coast to coast. That's dope. That inspires us. You know what I'm saying? But also, too, for all you retailers out there looking to place an order, Marianne, where can they reach out to you yet?
Same thing on the website. Just reach out. We've got a contact form, and we'll get back to you straight away and get Alibi on your shelf.
Come on, man. These joints, they need your guys' attention, y'all. Let's just as a reminder on the flavors, they got that caramel cream infused pre-roll, 2 half-gram pre-rolls, a cherry diesel hybrid, the caramel cream indica. The cherry diesel looks delicious. I love the sound of that. And then Dream Star on the sativa. So, folks, people come in, they're always looking for high potency. They're always looking for flavors. Those are 3 right there, different flavor profiles for people to check it out. Make sure you all tap in. Marianne, I appreciate you again. A lot of love for you. I wish you nothing but success on this journey, coast to coast, baby, and soon worldwide.
Thanks, Joey. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up, and I'm so glad to see you. And thanks for everything you do to build up the community.
I appreciate you very much. Folks, be sure to tap in, like, follow, subscribe, talk shit about me, but make sure you guys go visit these websites I've been saying over and over and over and over and over again here on this episode. Alibi.co